to call the February 18th, 2025 regular school board meeting to order. And we're going to start with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now a moment of silence. First up, we have recognitions, and I'm going to turn that to Dr. Heil.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm actually going to invite Dr. Hendrick to the microphone as we honor some very special staff members tonight.
All right, well, thank you. The first person I'd like to invite up this evening is Mr. Doug Durr. You would come on up, and after I share this story, you'll know why Doug is going to stand up here with me. Doug is one of our beloved maintenance employees here at Noblesville Schools. So today we want to acknowledge a group of individuals who exemplify the true meaning of teamwork and compassion. When an employee, Doug, recently experienced a medical emergency here at work, his colleagues immediately stepped into action, called 911, ran to retrieve a nearby AED, and administered CPR until professional medical help arrived. Their swift response undoubtedly saved their colleague's life. Please join me in expressing our deepest gratitude to Scott Gossman, Dave Apsher, Nick Watson. Nick, I know you're here. Come on up. And Mike Kirby. Please come up. Dr. Heil, do you want to present certificates on behalf of the district? And then we also have a special award that Jim Ginder from the Health Department is going to present to Mr. Mike Kirby. Jim, you and your associate would like to come up from the Health Department? Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. My name is Jason Laymaster. I'm the administrator of the Hamilton County Health Department. Joining me tonight is Jim Ginder, who is one of our health educators. Many of you in this room are very familiar with Jim because one of the things that Jim is very special to us and to our community is the education that he provides. And much of that is CPR and AED training, which is extensive to our school students and staff. And one of the things that's very much of an honor of mine as we are growing our programs and things is we have developed a Public Health Hero Award at the Health Department. And tonight we would like to present Mike Kirby with our Public Hero Award with Noblesville Schools, and for his remarkable service that embodies the values and practices of public health in Hamilton County.
You can take a picture of them when you're done. Yep. You guys want to shake the board? Yeah.
All right. Next, I would like to invite Susan Needy to come up. She's going to talk to us about NHS theater program and the thespians.
Good evening, everyone. As I call it, the cast and crew members of our thespian competition show, superior individual event competitors, troop officers, and state thespian officers, please refrain from applause until all names have been called and achievements have been shared. Abby Beer, Gray Black, Kate Boyce, Jay Kreider, Lila Cross, Emma Seek, Kari Davis, Jack Fentz, Mia Gordon, Braden Greenley, Brandon Holmes, Lauren Kenzie, Aaron Knurr, Vincent Lomlin, Amy Lynn, Prue Mahurin, Stevie Miles, Gracie Navarro, Andrew Rivera, Devin Roos, Ellie Seago, Mika Spalding, Max Stombaugh, Rue Tierney, Blake Valentine, Charlotte Wiggins, and Kenzie Wood. In January, NHS Theater attended the 2025 Indiana State Thespian Conference. 38 NHS theater students traveled to Avon High School for this 3-day conference, where students had numerous opportunities. Some include competing either in the one-act play competition or in individual events. Many attended workshops by theater professionals and college professors. Others visited college booths and or auditioned for colleges and college scholarships. And some applied and interviewed for one of 10 Indiana State Thespian officer positions for the next school year. But before I share all of NHS Theater's achievements from last month, please let me first share what the International Thespian Society is. The International Thespian Society is an organization that honors and enriches student achievement in high school theater. Our thespian troupe was founded early in 2015 with 5 charter members and has since grown significantly. After this year's May induction ceremony, our troupe will have over 45 active NHS student members. Because we have a thespian troupe, we are invited to participate in several different Indiana thespian activities throughout the year. This year, our troupe competed for the 8th time in the one-act play competition with the play Wiley and the Hairy Man by Susan Zetter. We first competed at the regional competition that we hosted at Noblesville High School this past December. At our regional, we placed first, which advanced us to the state competition at the Indiana State Thespian Conference this past January. Your Noblesville Thespian troupe competed against 11 other qualifying schools in the one-act play competition at the state conference and placed first overall, making them the 2025 Indiana State Champions. Our last state championship was in 2019. The judges also awarded junior Blake Valentine as Best Actor, senior Brandon Holmes as Best Supporting Actor, and junior Devin Roos as Best Cameo. While at the state conference, our troupe received a gold honor troupe ranking for the 2023-2024 school year. The Indiana chapter of the International Thespian Society allows its troupe to earn this special honor through documenting and presenting a portfolio that showcases all of the troupe's activities, including productions, participation activities, theater outreach, and community service. Due to the number of activities our troupe successfully offered last school year, we earned the title of a gold ranking Indiana honor troupe for the 9th year in a row. Our thespian troupe officers created the digital portfolio as part of the application process. Those officers are seniors Emma Seek, Lauren Kenzie, and Aaron Knurr, junior and officer chair Lila Cross, and juniors Kate Boyce, Braden Greenley, Charlotte Wiggins, and Kenzie Wood. Also at the State Thespian Conference, they interview for state thespian officers. We had 2 this past school year, Kate Boyce and Lauren Kenzie. And this year, Kate Boyce interviewed with Ellie Seago and were accepted to be 2 of the 10 Indiana State Thespian officers for the upcoming school year. Kate is a returning state thespian officer, and both Kate and Ellie will work on the student board alongside the adult board for the Indiana chapter to help develop the regional competitions, the state conference, and leadership training for Indiana thespians. Students also competed in small group or individual competitions called Thespies. This year, these Thespie pieces were directed by alumni and brothers, Evan Elliott and Ben Elliott, and 3 NHS theater events earned superior rankings, qualifying them to compete at the International Thespian Festival this summer at Indiana University on the Bloomington campus. These superior ranking students include junior Ellie Seago in musical solo, sophomore Jack Fence in monologues, and junior Andrew Rivera and sophomore Jack Fence in duet acting. And Andrew and Jack were also chosen as Best in Show for duet acting by the judges for their event, making them the 2025 Duet Acting State Champions. This honor allowed them to perform their scene on Sunday at the conference in front of over 1,000 Indiana high school theater students and their troupe directors. What's next for NHS Theater? Currently, we're working on the NHS Theater Spring production, Almost Maine, by John Periani. Our show will run March 6th through 8th at 7 p.m. in the NHS Auditorium. Thank you, thespians, for all your hard work.
Another amazing program. Awesome stuff. All right, so at this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Lugo. I promise they're not leaving because you're getting up to speak, I promise. But Mr. Lugo, I'm going to invite him up to talk to us about our Hair Teachers of the Month and our spotlight on North this evening.
If I could have all 3 of you come up. Right there's just fine. Dr. Heil, board members, I want to introduce you to Mrs. Bostic, Mrs. Henshaw, they're 3 of our outstanding teachers at North Elementary School. Each one of them portrays all of the traits of our shine and the way what we call the North Way. It's how we treat each other and we treat our students. And so we're very proud to have them represented as our hair teacher spotlight. And if we give them all a big Congratulations. Thank you. So tonight we also have the spotlight, and so one of the things that we do at North, and as most of you know, we are a Title I school, and part of that Title I is that we have to have specific family events and educate our families about what Title I is and what we do with it. Typically what you do is you have these meetings and you invite people to come, and it's kind of boring. To be quite honest, it's just all legalese and that kind of stuff. We decided that we wanted it to be more. So we started literacy night. And so I'm going to let our ladies kind of talk you through it and tell you about our literacy night.
think I start off. Hi, I'm Corey Elkin. I'm one of the learning specialists at North. I'm going to go ahead and get started on our side. Our family literacy night is evolved around a theme every year. So this year's North dives into the blue. Heroes. So this event is a highly attended, highly anticipated event by our family, our staff, and our students every year. This year shows that the night really just revolves around 10 books that are featured, that are selected by our students and are selected by our staff, that our students get to read all that week and into that evening. What do families do that evening? And it kind of lists here by a bullet point, but it really just invites families into the building in a non, kind of a very low pressure way where they get to be a part of the school. They get to see the things that students are doing, hanging in the hallways. They get to hear books being read aloud, and then they also get to add to their personal book collections. How do we do this? And along with our staff? Together. I should have said a drum roll. But really, it takes all of us. And this was our front board. That was a lot of fun to put up. Over 500 fish. Now, I know you can't see very well there, but each fish has a student's name. And I will tell you that they had so much fun finding their name on the bulletin board. Something so little and simple, and really took it for granted. Thought, okay, sure, their names on the board, but they absolutely loved finding their names. Some were easier to find than others, correct, Miss G? But it was a lot of fun to see them. And then there's scuba divers, which are the staff. So it just demonstrates that at North, it's really important that all are included and that we all do a lot of things together as a school.
Hello, I'm Emily Griggs,
and I am another learning specialist at North Elementary.
And one of the first things that we do after we picked our theme and our grade levels have picked their texts and their books is we set the date, and the weekend before we come in and transform the school. So this year was lots and lots of fun. I don't know if my family would agree. It was lots of fun. They spent lots of hours. There's lots of people that come in and help. But we had different coves in different places throughout the building. We had different sea animals hanging from the ceilings. I mean, there was just so many cool things for our kiddos to come in from the get-go and get really excited about what was getting ready to happen. And it really took, when we talk about together, there were so many people in our school community that helped with this. In between times, they were tracing different animals and all kinds of things just to help out. So that is kind of an exciting thing for them. So that was just a little sneak peek of one of the mornings that week. And every morning that week, week and a half leading up to, sounded like that. And not in just that area of the school, but all around the school, upstairs and down. And that showcase there actually had a scuba diver in it the night of the event. Our PE teacher dressed up in full scuba gear and greeted the students. There was a photo op. It was amazing. So lots of creating and building excitement. Yes, there was a mermaid. We'll get to that too. One of the ways that we build excitement is first, Mrs. Elkin and I will go into each and every classroom and we do a kickoff lesson. And just to hook the kiddos with the topic, why is it important for us to learn about? We try we try to do a hands-on activity to get them excited.
Also, as you've seen, our grade levels will each do a kind of like reading rainbow on our morning announcements to introduce their book, and then also give a little sneak peek about what they might be doing at literacy night that night. So, and our library media specialist, Mrs. Chamberlain, who helps us tremendously with all of this. She also gets on and will do different facts about the topics. And all of the books then get raffled off the night of Family Literacy Night. So they are very, very excited. This was something that one of our fourth grade, our fourth grade team did. We didn't even ask them to do because that's what people do at North. They go above and beyond. And so the kids and the staff joined in the decorating, and this fit with their persuasive unit, and it matched their book, and it was just awesome that they joined in with us. Yes, you're right. There is a mermaid there. Part of what we do is get into character, especially the day of. Oh, there's our scuba diver too. But you'll see the mermaid. That was one of our read-alouds because we have read-aloud stations throughout the event that night. And it has become a tradition for Mrs. Krent to read There Wasn't a Lady Who Swallowed something that goes along with our theme. And she was a mermaid this year. Who swallowed a shell. So these are just some of our getting into character. To build that excitement. And as our families come in that night, we have guides for them. And they get a bag for them to collect all of their goodies, and they earn sand dollars and all of that kind of stuff. But they are immersed in from the get-go. So as North dives into the blue, bear with me. It says, "Welcome all ocean explorers and sea captains. Your ocean adventure awaits beneath the waves. Navigate North's vast seascape by using your trusty map. As you dive through each station, ocean explorers earn shining sand dollars, and their sea captains will collect navigation charts from Mission Control to support and encourage their explorers' growth. Once your mission is complete, swim over to the North's Treasure Cove, where you can trade in your hard-earned sand dollars for some treasures from the deep. Take a deep breath and get ready to plunge into the deep." So we just try to really immerse everybody and set the tone that it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to do this all together. Okay, and back to Mrs. Elkin.
We have a few slides here that just show the evening where families and the students all hands-on activities get to immerse into the blue. You can see there's our treasure cove where the kids are sand dollars. They get to spend their sand dollars. Prizes. The literacy-based activities. A few more actual slides. I will say that there are a range of activities that involve, all the way from our little millers. They get to do some sensory tubs in the little millers room, all the way up to fifth grade, where they had a STEM activity that evening. So it is a wide range of activities for all families. A few more diving into the blue, and all the classrooms that have an activity being featured. And then the read-alouds. And I will say that we are thankful for these two teachers that are willing to do the read-alouds and perform the evening of the event. We have to find books that fit the theme, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. I think this is a really key point for us to make, is that fostering family connections in a very non-threatening way. It's exciting, it's inviting, and it's not just conference time that families get to get into our building, but for this event, we had some families join in on the fun and the dress-up, so you can see from those umbrellas that became jellyfish. There's our scuba diver with a student, and then multi-generational. We have a grandma, a mom, and our son there. So it's not just the parents, but it's also grandparents, aunts, uncles, any family really. Here are some things that we provided for families to take home. So not only do they get to enjoy the evening, but from a supplemental support provided from our district, we actually were able to print out some take-home games for them to do to reinforce essential literacy skills, and then just some fun reading tools that they can make together. I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Chamberlain.
Hi, I'm Courtney Chamberlain. Like Emily said, I'm the library media specialist. I kind of jumped on board a couple years ago and have loved being a part of this site. One of the aspects that we bring in is the used book sale. So this is awesome because we get donations from all over the community. My staff will put out messages on social media, and then we'll just get donations to where usually my back room is flooded. But what's fantastic is all books are 50 cents to $1. So you will see kids coming out with stacks of books that they are just pumped about. And they're going home with a lot of new reading material that they may not have been able to afford at a normal scholastic book fair. So the used book sale has a huge impact. And then the funds from that we put directly back into library programming. So that helps fund our winter book flood right before winter break. We have a swap called Book Flood. It goes on to fund our World Read Aloud Day celebration we just had, our reading initiatives like our Young Hoosier Book Award program. We do a reading initiative with that. So it goes on. So this night impacts those funds from like this evening impacts the entire school year, which is really awesome. New this year was the Ocean Dome. So the district purchased this mobile dome last year, and we were able to check it out the week before, and then have it there for Family Literacy Night, and it was an awesome experience. Families, when they came in, had a chance to get the tickets, adorable they created, where they could come back for a certain time show, kind of like the dolphin show at the zoo. And it was a quick 5-minute video or experience about how we are connected to the ocean in our environment. So it was really awesome to see families' faces light up. But the other really cool thing is because we had it for the full week before, all students got to experience that we got to. I was able to create a program for our K-2 students, kind of going through the ocean, levels of the ocean, the zones of the ocean, and then I actually rented a film about coral reefs that was designed for these mobile days. So it was awesome, and what's great was it was accessible for all students at North. We have a wide range of diverse learners, and all were able to come in and experience that. So that was amazing as well. And then we had community partnerships. We brought in Hamilton's Public Library. They are always happy to collaborate and come in. They brought ocean-themed stickers and activities, and they were able to sign people up for library cards or renew existing memberships. They also got to kind of feature what services they can provide for families. So again, not just bringing our family in and making connections within our school, but within our community as well, and getting them connected was important. And again, fostering that love of reading and what's available.
We are almost done, I promise. So how can we do this? Well, we are fortunate. We are a Title I school, and I am proud of that. We are a Title I school, and because of that, we do have some parent involvement funds or family involvement funds that we can use, and that helps us purchase some of the things we need. We also do this with tons and tons of volunteer hours. Book donations from across the community, teacher donations, our supportive admin that just lets us go with it and gets on board with our creative, crazy ideas. The collaboration amongst our staff, they also they get really behind us, and we are very fortunate. So our amazing staff, the collaboration and our amazing families, and that is how we can do this. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fabulous.
Anybody?
Retirement. You're too young to retire.
what a great program. I mean, you're turning the school into a giant walk-in aquarium. And, I remember when my kids were younger, they would go to Dr. Porgy's office and they've got the aquarium in here. Thankfully, they still do. But it's exciting to see, that, let alone basically walking into a giant aquarium. How phenomenal. And I was part of, years ago, part of planning and participating in Polar Express at preschool. So we kind of did the same thing, but wow, top notch. Kudos to you guys. Yep.
All right, we have one more presentation here before we get to our business items board. I'd like to invite Dr. Hendrick to come back up to the mic. So just a little background on this for the benefit of our audience members. You may recall back in October, the board took a pretty big step of improving our new strategic plan and a commitment we made to the community. As part of that, every month going forward in 2025 and beyond, we're going to always do one update of one area of the plan. And so tonight, as you'll see, if you look at board docs where you came done, you've got to pull up on the agenda there. Tonight we're going to highlight goal number 3, which is exceptional staffing.
All right, so we'll go ahead and dive right in here. Exceptional staffing. You can see there our commitment statement and our strategic plan is that we are committed to attracting, retaining, and developing outstanding employees to best serve students. And this evening, I'll be going through with you those measures of success and strategies and some things that we've worked towards this year to meet those items. So first of all, looking at the measures of success, our first priority here is looking at and making sure that our staff members are feeling valued, supported, and celebrated. And I have a few slides here to kind of demonstrate some things that we've done this year. The first one, I know some of you board were able to join us for this event. This was the first time that we were able to hold our substitute teacher breakfast. And this was sponsored by the Ed Foundation, and we weren't really sure if we were going to have 5 subs show up or 25, but we had a really great turnout. We were able to provide breakfast for them and then some goodie take-home bags. Had great conversation with them, just things that are going well, maybe some things that we should look at in the future for our subs, but they're such an integral part of our entire district, and so we wanted to make sure that they felt valued and appreciated for their work, and I felt like this was such a big success, we'll continue on with this. Here's some great pictures from the event that you can take in there. So moving forward with that, still on the note of making sure that our staff members are feeling valued and supported. Another thing that we have continued on this year is our Miller of the Year award program. And we started this last year. Again, we found it very successful, and so we've continued it on for this year. And this is where we're recognizing a classified staff member in each of our subgroups. You can see on this following page here some of those individuals that we've recognized this year in transportation, maintenance, custodial staff, food service, and our school resource officers. So an individual can be nominated by anyone in the corporation, and then we have a committee that then chooses that person. These individuals, obviously, Marnie does a great job of pushing them out on social media and really highlighting the good work that they're doing here. And then they're also invited to the gratitude gala at the end of the year, which is a really neat thing and a great way to recognize their hard work. We've also started our classified staff discussion group. This is our first year for this, and I am just thrilled with how this group is progressing. We meet monthly. We have individuals that represent all of our different classified subgroups and all of our different buildings across the district. And I know we've gotten really great feedback that these individuals are learning a lot about just kind of the inner workings of the district, but to be honest, I think I'm learning more from them of just the items that they're bringing to us, kind of their wonderings, or hey, have you ever thought about this, or I think we could do this to improve, different aspects of our district. So this time has really been valuable, I know for them, and for me, and we'll definitely continue this on this year. So this has been a really great thing. Here's our group representing our classified staff. Another thing that we've done, and we've done this for the past few years, is that Paul Barber, our Director of Personnel, and myself go around to all of our schools, and we did this in November of this year, and we meet with all of our new teachers in Noblesville schools. So whether they're first year, brand new out of college, first year teachers, or whether they're just new to Noblesville schools, we meet with them and just really see how their experience has been so far, how their onboarding experience was, and we just want to make sure that we're best supporting them in their first year here at Noblesville schools. And then Paul and I take this information and we meet back with the various learning departments, technology departments, special ed, and then provide this feedback to them. And then this information just really helps to guide our onboarding experiences for future years and also our mentorship program to make sure that our mentors are ensuring that they're supporting our first year teachers as well. I'm kind of shifting gears here. Staff members demonstrating growth in their designated roles. That was another measure of success. You can see here, and I know that you're familiar with our adult education program that we started back in August. This is a partnership with Washington Township, and this data was pulled at semester. We have 108 students, and those are individuals that are wanting to improve their English skills. We have adult learners in there. Some of them are parents of students that we have here in Noblesville schools. Some are just community members that are, within our community, and some are employees. And so whatever, reason why they're in there, they're learning those English skills. On this next slide, you can see all the different levels or tiers of classes that we offer to those adult learners. And this has just been a really great thing. This program continues to grow, and I think that we'll see that that growth continue over the next few years. And we are offering both day and evening classes. So for some of our employees, that's been a nice thing for them to be able to have a choice of what works for them based on when their time is for us. Continuing on with that, we are changing the evaluation time frame for all classified staff. And the reason I mention that is as we really want to help our classified staff continue to grow in their roles. In the past, all of our classified staff were evaluated in December, and now we're moving that time frame to April. And that's really just to give our employees that opportunity to have the entire year to work towards their skills and their growth and goals that they have for themselves. So I think this shift will be really helpful. We're also moving the evaluation system for our classified staff onto an electronic module, and it's actually the same that our certified staff works out of, and I think that will just help make things more efficient. They'll be able to see their evaluations and past year's evaluations as well, so I think that will be a good transition. One other thing that we've really offered to our staff to ensure that they can grow in their role is we have partnered with IU Kokomo, and we've offered our instructional assistants the opportunity to go and earn their teaching license. And so we had a couple of meetings here with a representative from IUK, and we had 39 individuals that attended that meeting. And we have 11 IAs from our district that you can see here that have committed, and they've actually already been admitted to IUK, that they've already started their program this spring. We have a couple that are going to be starting in the fall, but they're all going after their teaching license, which is awesome. So, and some of those other 39 that came to the meeting, they're still seeking some other opportunities as well, but I think this just goes to show you the caliber of instructional assistants that we have in our school systems is just second to none. So we as a district are going to do everything we can to help support these individuals through their licensure, and I know that the flexibility that IUK is offering is just great because they're allowed to stay in that IA role while they're working towards all their practicums and everything else that comes along with that. So that's one of the benefits and why we decided that partnership would be, really beneficial for those employees. Our next measure of success here is schools experience consistently improved retention rates over time. I will show you a chart here on the following slide, and you can see that our retention rates, and this is just of our certified staff, has continued to increase over the past 3 years. I know some of you, if you watch the media or you read local media, there's been a steady, I would say, decline with other area districts with their teacher retention rate, whereas we are seeing a steady increase. These percentages are just, wonderful and really a testament to, some of the work that we're doing here. But you can see the 92% overall district rate retention for our teachers is phenomenal. So we're really proud of that, and we'll continue to track that for years to come. Along those same lines, another measure of success is attracting highly qualified applicants for all open positions. We do continue to receive quality applicants for each position that we're posting. You can see we currently are at a 85% fill rate, which is quite impressive. We do have some unfilled positions, and those are typically ones that we, continue to really work on and try to do, our best recruiting with. But I really feel confident and comfortable with the 85% fill rate. So some of the strategies I'll touch on briefly as we go through these. Again, making our staff making sure that they feel supported and valued. We are celebrating all staff members through a variety of methods, and you can see there, and I'll show you on the next slide here, we have our Teacher of the Year awards. I know Dr. Rich is getting ready to amp that up again for this year. We have ESC awards, so here at our ESC building, we have Exceeds, Serves, and Contributes awards that we also recognize, our hard work of our staff here. We have our IDOE Rise Awards. We have service awards that we provide at the end of the year as well. So just a lot of great ways to recognize staff. On the following couple of slides, just like you saw tonight with Mike Kirby, we have some employees that are just going above and beyond the call of duty and beyond their normal job responsibilities. And so thanks to Marnie, who's helped, provided some leadership with honoring these employees as well. So next time we'll be able to highlight Mike on this one as well. Increasing and improving the quality of professional learning and collaboration opportunities for staff members. This was another strategy that we're working towards. As all of you know, we transitioned this year from e-learning days to professional development days for our staff, and we also included classified staff within those PD days this year, which was really important. So during those days, our teachers, our classified staff, they're all able to just really hone in and focus on their own learning and not have to toggle back and forth between the e-learning of their students like they did last year and their own learning. And so this has just been really great. We will continue on with these professional development days for next year as well. We're also continuing the work of our exit and stay interviews. So we do conduct exit interviews for any individual that resigns or retires from Noblesville schools. And then we also just concluded our stay interviews. This is the second year that we've conducted those. And I just love, that's the part of my job I just absolutely love, just sitting down with people and understanding why they stay here at Noblesville schools. What has gotten them to stay for some of them 30 plus years. Or things that maybe we need to look at as a district of things that we need to improve on. So those stay interviews, I will have a comprehensive report that I'll be getting out to you soon. Another thing that we did this year, we're really trying to make an effort, and big kudos to David and the business department of trying to get out in front of our staff to ensure that they understand what benefits that they have available to them here. And one of the things that we partnered with David and his team was on the Classified PTO Roadshow. I know Dr. Heil also did a Certified PTO Roadshow at the beginning of the year just to make sure that people understood this transition of going to paid time off and what that looks like. And I think that was really well received. And so we'll continue to make sure that people know of different changes coming along, their benefits and coming down the line. Here's some other things, and again, this really highlights a lot of the things that David and his team are doing of those benefits that we're providing to our staff and making sure that they understand, how all of these work. I spoke a little bit about our service awards, and so another one of our strategies that we're working on is just analyzing that average employee tenure. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by looking at our service awards. We do hand these out. Dr. Heil and myself and Marnie go out in May, and we provide service awards to all those individuals to Noblesville schools. This is for the 23-24 school year, so we'll be doing that again this May. But if you look just that list itself is so impressive. 61 employees with 10 years of service is amazing. So to look at our tenure and how many people are giving service here to Noblesville schools is pretty unreal. So I'll continue to report back out on that as well. And as we ramp up for hiring season, you can see that the HR team is, engaging in a variety of recruiting strategies and going out to a lot of different job fairs across, the universities and colleges that they're holding. We're also hosting a couple of our own here as well. So those will all be coming into play real soon. And then one thing that we're also doing here on this next slide is that we also have formed a partnership with Ball State University. We've always had a really strong affiliation with them, but with this partnership, it's actually for a residency program. So normally our student teachers, we get them for about a semester, and for this residency program, we will have them for the entire year. So the first semester, they'll start with us. They'll be doing some virtual learning still to complete their coursework for the university, but then they will also be doing practicums in our buildings where they will be serving as a student teacher the second semester, and that will allow them to pretty much dive in day one in their student teaching. So usually there's some time that they kind of have to wait till they take over the classroom, but since they will be there the entire year, then that will be able to give them a whole year of experience in Noblesville schools. We will have a mentor teacher from our staff that will also be paired up to them with them, and that will be able to help support them as well. So these kids often make really great prospective teaching candidates for us, because during that year they kind of get to know the Noblesville way. We kind of see how they're performing as well, and so we think this is going to be a really great partnership. And then finally, as you all know, this isn't any new news, but it's still big news in my mind. Forbes magazine did name us a top employer in America. I think we were all a little taken back, just surprised at this. But after reflection, I'm not totally shocked. I get the pleasure of working with staff every day throughout our district, and we have just wonderful people here at Noblesville Schools. And so to know that we were named this, it's just really a pride moment for all the great people that we have working here at Noblesville School. So I always like to kind of gloat on this a little bit, because it is really recognition to our people that work hard every day here. So that's all for my presentation. Hopefully that provided you with some updates and what things we've been working on towards our strategic plan.
Thank you. Great presentation. I think when we did the strategic plan, this is the kind of information that we wanted to hear and wanted the public to hear, just to highlight all the great things we're doing and all the great things you're doing. So anybody have any questions?
Thank you for doing a deep dive into this. I work on the philosophy, the more pats on the back, the more pushing up, the more thank yous and recognitions, and you're covering all bases from one end to the other. I think it's absolutely fabulous, and the results kind of show in our retention rates, which again we'll knock that number to 95 instead of 92.
That would be great.
Good work, Heather. I think it's fabulous.
Great work.
Yeah, I mean, fabulous presentation, and you're the only one doing it, so the spotlight is on. As far as the presentation goes, you're the only one standing up here. It's it's not like the building spotlights. You have other people to kind of hide behind, but yeah, great job. Great job. Very impressive. I do have just one question.
Yeah.
Your group with the classified staff,
yes.
How often do you anticipate or plan to change the members of this group, or do you?
Yeah, we really haven't thought that far ahead. We do have, I think, one building that hasn't been represented throughout the district, so I would really like to get someone from that building on board. I think that would be great. And we did add members from the very beginning. I think once people heard what it was about, we've added members. I think there's a fine balance of getting too many people, but I also think that the number that we have right now represents all subgroups, which has been really great.
Sure.
And from my thought, honestly, we haven't really talked, I guess, about year 2 yet, because we're just still enjoying year 1. But from my view, I see a lot of value in having continuity in that group, because it does take time for people to understand and
Sure.
get flow and feel comfortable sharing. I mean, I will say I think it's really improved the last few months, because the first months, people were kind of uneasy, like, what is this? What can we really bring things here? But now people feel really comfortable
Right.
sharing. So
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you were like annually trying to, change the group up and give everybody, I mean, you meet monthly, so, get them 12 meetings under their belt and then maybe new members to kind of, just purely asking.
Yeah, it's a great question for us to start to think
I know
about.
it's new and you may not know
Yeah.
yet, but yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. I texted Dr. Heil this and I said, Dr. Hendrick is amazing at her job, and you are. You are really, really good at your job. This is very impressive, and I know you had a lot of help, and
Have
you
a
don't
great
do
team,
this
yeah.
alone. But thank you for listening to the staff and giving feedback. That's going above and beyond. I love that you're being a listening ear, because sometimes when you're probably in the building, maybe you talk to your principal, but no one at there's not really that. You're bridging that gap with ESC, and I really love that. And you're really giving them a voice, and I appreciate that. I love the IUK collaboration for the instructional assistant to certified teacher. That's amazing, because I'm sure a lot of those people are thinking about being teachers, but they don't know how to go about doing it, and that is a great way to recruit people, and you're helping get them here. So I love that. And yeah, our retention rate, it's all because of these things that you're doing. So thank you. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Thanks.
Well, thank you all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're moving on to the business now. Public comment would be next, and we had no one that signed up for public comment on an agenda item. So we are moving to consent. By a single motion, the board approves and adopts the following items or actions which reflect application of board policy and Indiana code. Those items are marked consent. And those are claims, donations, minutes from our last meeting, overnight and out-of-state trips, personnel listings, and technical corrections. May I have a motion to approve the consent items as listed?
So move.
Joe, second? Second by Misty. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a wonderful community that continues to give to Noblesville schools, and I think we need to read each one of these out loud. Noblesville First United Methodist Church gave us $300 to pay outstanding lunch accounts, and the Adams family donated a baby grand piano. It was valued at around $9,000 to our band department. And Bridget Lucan won good condition trombone, which I played in 3rd and 4th grade and didn't qualify very well for that. They gave it for $200. So again, I'd like to thank our community for what they do for our schools.
Okay. Thank you. All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I do have one quick question on the claims. It's not a dollar amount specific question, but I know we're working on a portal to have on our website so that it's more transparent and I guess provides explanations and whatnot for the general public. Is there any way that in the meantime, until then, that we could make the claims viewable by the public, I guess, in the meantime? Or is there a specific reason why they're not?
I think,
other than confusion?
Yeah. Well, honestly, that's kind of part of it. Part of it is it's not like, again, it's not like there's any big secrets that are going on in Noblesville schools. Sure. I think a lot of times that boards don't necessarily place those out in public view because of exactly that. There's usually a lot of context and things that go into that. And so this sounds weird because this is not usually my philosophy on things, but sometimes information without all the other background information leads to just more questions and confusion or concern. That's something we can think about as we work on that website, though, of how we could do that. Because I know we had some conversation of building some ways how people contextualize all this information that we're going to put out here pretty soon. So yeah.
Do you have a timeline on that portal?
It'll definitely be up by the end of the school year.
Okay.
It's first iteration. Because I imagine once we get it launched, gonna get feedback to make improvements. And like I told you, board, I'm gonna want you to look at it beforehand and give us some feedback, because, you know, David and I are probably the two main architects of this thing, but we see things a little differently than I'm gonna call them normal people do. So we'll want you to help us know, are we on track? Is this gonna make sense to the community? But we do want to get that out, and then we'll make a big media push, at least here locally with our community, so they can take a look at it and give us some input.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Next up, personnel. In accordance with the Indiana state law, schools are now required to utilize a more comprehensive expanded history background check for employment. So may I have a motion to approve the separate personnel list as related to additional background check information?
So move.
Joe?
Second.
Second by Stephanie. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Next, we have the Indiana General Assembly enacted legislation on a House Enrolled Act, which allocates funds to award cash stipends for teachers, instructional coaches, and other staff employed in the classroom who are responsible for delivering literacy in kindergarten through third grade. This stipend will be given to 212 staff in those related roles who qualify. May I have a motion to approve the resolution establishing an employee stipend under early literacy achievement grant? Misty?
Second.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion or questions? Can you confirm, Dr. Hale, it's a couple $100-ish?
Yes, I can. Let me pull up the exact amount because I've just forgotten it. Yes, it looks like all in. Mr. Tortorella, you can correct me. I think all in with all the taxes and things factored in, I think it's about $217, 1 penny shy of that, all in. And just for a little context for the community, this was something new that the state legislature put into place about 1 year ago. I guess it actually passed the prior year and was implemented last year. And as Mrs. Crosser explained, it's targeted to very specific people in very specific roles. So it's a little different than the teacher appreciation grant that's generally awarded to almost all teachers. This one's very targeted to people who do specific things in specific grade levels.
All right, great. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have advertised for public hearing. According to Indiana code, before a school corporation may spend more than $1 million to build, repair, or alter a school building that will be finalized by a lease or bond, it must hold 2 public hearings. And this motion authorizes the district to advertise the notice of public hearings and begin the process for the 2025 bond. A detailed presentation of the bond will be given at hearings on March 18th at 6 and April 15th at 6. May I have a motion to authorize the advertisement of public hearings for the 2025 bond?
Move. Second.
Brett? Joe? Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have bids. The board acknowledges the receipt of the bids on Friday, February 7th for the Noblesville East Middle School Athletic Building and the Noblesville High School Softball Locker Room. The recommended vendor was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder who submitted all required information and met all the specifications. May I have a motion to approve the bid and contract from Gillette General Contractors, Inc. for the Noblesville East Middle School Athletic Building and the Noblesville High School Softball Locker Room in the total amount of $3,301,000, which includes the combination base bid and the selection of preferred alternate bids?
So move.
Joe, may I have a second?
Second.
Stephanie, any further discussion? Any questions, or would you like to add anything?
I would like to ask a question, which it looks like we were under budget for these 2 buildings. Do you know approximately how much we're under budget?
Yeah, it was under budget about $1.2 million. So we had a total budget of about 4.7, and then in total, with the combined bid, about $1.2 million under.
That makes me very happy. Thank you very much. That's great.
Okay. And then, Dr. Heil, could you kind of, I know I had submitted a question to you ahead of time as far as the process for getting this approval. Would you mind offering that information?
So you said the process for getting this information? Yeah, so this being the threshold that it is, which is over 150,000. Actually, it was just increased 2 years ago to $300,000 for a public bid. Knowing that it's going to go to a public bid, what we do is we work with our architect, which is CSO. And they're very familiar with the public bid process. So we went ahead and issued the advertisements, the bid, all the specifications for the building requirements, the architecture, the design. It's all posted out there for the public to see, for general contractors to see. I forget the name of the website off the top of my head that all contractors pretty much know to go to see what work is out there to bid on. And so that was done all in accordance with Indiana Public Bid Statute to make sure then that we could bring forward today to you a bid recommendation that, of course, was opened publicly a week ago about, where we, again, identified Gillette as the most responsible and responsive bidder to then be selected today based on the lowest bid. I'll just also add that I think it did help to have both of these buildings bid at once. We read the combo bid in here, so we did bid them separately, but then also together. And we also had, I think it was a total of 5 contractors bid on this, which is actually really good. And that's kind of what we're hearing right now in the market, that these projects were kind of in like a sweet spot. So again, we came under budget, but if you looked at the bid tabulation sheet, and if you looked at the individual projects, you'll see that some of the high bids actually hit kind of close to where we were with budget. So again, this is where the competition, the public bid process really helps to bring down and save us money overall. In addition to, I'll just also give credit to the operations team. I think the operations team does a really good job to get the reputation out there that Noblesville Schools is a good place to do work because we have a good team that is very, very organized, very communicative, and very knowledgeable. So I think that to have that reputation also brings a lot of contractors to the table as well.
Great. And what's the timeline?
Yeah, so the notice to proceed for the East Athletic School building will just be a couple weeks, and then for the high school softball locker room, it'll be immediately once the season is over, so late May, June, depending on how far they go into the tournament.
Great. Any other questions? Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead.
We received 5 bids for this, correct? And then CSO is tasked with vetting the bids, the contractors, based on their experience and just kind of industry knowledge?
Yeah, industry knowledge, and then all the bid information that they submit. So on that bid tabulation sheet, you'll see all the different check boxes for things that they need to submit in addition to just a dollar amount. They need to show and prove that they're bonded, that they have insurance, that they even have to submit their financials as well, so we know they're fiscally soluble, and just in case something would happen. So again, all of that information is outlined as a requirement per Indiana bid statute that we have to obtain to do exactly what you're saying. And yes, indeed, they are qualified, and we're the lowest bidder.
And this particular contractor, we've not had any projects with them before, correct?
Not in recent history that I can speak of, but
I mean, that's good. I mean, depending on how you look at it, I think it's good because we're sharing the love. It's not like we're, married to a specific contractor all the time. So, but then we're not familiar with their work, but that's where CSO comes in.
Well, exactly right. And they do a lot of public projects, large private projects as well that CSO is familiar with. So they have that reputation in the industry that they do good work and they know to bid on a project like this. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, that was a question that we raised, but you have to have assurance in the fact that, they do work out there and they have all the reason to be held accountable and that they will do a good job for us as well.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much for all that.
All right. Any other questions? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, due to scheduling conflicts for some board members for the July 15th meeting, we're going to move the meeting to July 22nd to make sure that all the board members can be in attendance. May I have a motion to approve the change of the date from July 2025 board meeting from July 15th to July 22nd?
So move.
Joe? Second by Misty. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And just for clarification, there were, I'm not going to point out, but there were two board members that are unable to make it. So just on the slim chance one of the 3 of us remaining board members got sick or couldn't show up, then we couldn't have a meeting. Yeah. So we chose to move it for that reason.
Thank you very much thank you, board.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And we want you to be here. We want you to be here with us.
I know you do.
I was first to show, and luckily Stephanie came in.
Right, it came to your rescue.
She didn't want you to feel alone.
Right. All right, policy adoption. May I have a motion to adopt policy B250, which is the school board member of ethics, and policy C125, determination of legal settlement eligibility for enrollment of students without legal settlement in the corporation. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Stephanie? Second by Misty. Any further discussion? Dr. Heil, would you like to speak on both those, please?
I would. Just really quickly, clarification for the community and for the board here. So board policy B250, school board member ethics, we actually had an existing policy that was almost identical word for word to this when we were with our previous provider, Neola. And we actually, through a funny discussion on something completely different, I went looking for our ethics policy and realized somehow it got missed in our transition. So this is just our new vendors version of that policy. Like I say, it's basically identical, and so my recommendation was the board approve that tonight. And then C125, if you've looked at it online for members of our community, you'll notice there's no proposed changes. That's because there are no changes. But this is one of those policies that by law we have to have the board reapprove it every single year, even when nothing has changed. And so, again, board, just make that recommendation that we reapprove it. But again, for clarity's sake, there's nothing different than what currently exists right now.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, policies for first read. The way that by Indiana code, school boards do policy review is we have a first read and then a second read. So we have 5 policies that are up for first read. So we will review those and we will vote on those at our next meeting. Now we have public comment for a non-agenda item. We did not have anybody that signed up for that. So we're on to committee reports, starting with Dr. Heil.
All right, thank you. So, board, you know this because you were there, but we had a great tour last week of the progress on the Noblesville High School expansion that's going on there on the northeast corner. Very exciting. The board, for the community, if you didn't see that in our releases on this, got their first look inside, got to see the construction happening. The biggest aha I had when I saw it in person was the first time is how much bigger it actually looks in person than on the little drawings that we looked at all that time ago. So very exciting. Just as a reminder to the community, that expansion is going to include new welding bays, engineering rooms, biomed labs, a new cafe, makerspace, study areas, meeting space, and a whole lot of other things with that. And of course, as we talked about when we first worked on this project a year and a half ago, as a result of that work, that's also freeing up space in the core of the building that's going to allow us to greatly increase and renovate all of our performing arts spaces as well. So very exciting, and of course very, very thankful that we're able to do that without increasing our tax rate. Last week, I had a chance to participate in the Hamilton County Leadership Academy Education Day, which was hosted by Carmel this year. I think our turn is next year, just incidentally. But we do this once a year where all the superintendents from around Hamilton County come and speak to the class and basically just get questions from the class and kind of share a little bit about what's going on in our districts and just in education. So always a beneficial day. I always appreciate the chance to meet a lot of leaders from throughout our county. I do want to say a thank you to our local legislators. As we are now about halfway through the session, I believe this week is the official halfway point at the end of this week. I've had some great conversations one-on-one with them, and they've reached out to me a few different times to share thoughts and questions with me about bills that they're hearing, bills they're proposing, things that they're working on. Of course, there's a lot of headlines right now because we're right in the middle of the session, and there's a lot of ideas going on. So I do appreciate that partnership and their confidence in us and their willingness to know how these bills might affect our children and our community. I really enjoyed earlier this month getting to be a guest reader at Promise Road. As all of our elementary schools celebrated World Read Aloud Day. Although I will say I wasn't the first reader of the day. The first reader of the day was an IndyCar driver, so I think everybody after that was a disappointment. But I had fun anyway. It was a lot of fun. But I can't compete with an IndyCar driver. That's just too cool. As we shared just a minute ago, Mrs. Ray shared and brought up a second ago, Marnie, David, and I have been working a lot on our new finance education dashboard and pages that we're going to put onto the website. So like we said, that's going to come out later this spring. Our goal is to have that launched by the end of the school year as we head into summer, and we'll talk more about that when it gets here. And then the last thing I do want to point out really quickly for the benefit of the community, you may remember back when I did State of the Schools last fall, one of the new things I announced was our new Noblesville Schools Hall of Fame. And at that point, there weren't a lot of details because we were just really getting going with that. But I am excited to share that we had a great response When the nominations opened, we had so many great nominations come in, and the committee recently met to choose the inaugural class of our Hall of Fame inductees. So it's top secret. I can't tell you any more than that, but I will be very excited to announce. We're going to announce those individuals next month at Millerpalooza, which is March 14th, Friday, March 14th, and I will also put a plug in for that. Tickets are now on sale, so if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, it's time to get them, and we look forward to celebrating that and all the other great things that evening. And that's it.
Okay, next up, Stephanie, Calendar Committee.
The Calendar Committee met on February 6th and had approximately 22 attendees, which included teachers, administrators, and transportation personnel. The 2025-26 and the 26-27 calendars have already been approved by the board, but professional development days and late start days for that calendar hadn't been solidified, so we had a discussion about when would be the best time to have those during the calendar year. We also began discussions about the 27-28 calendar and got input on several iterations of that calendar. Many things have to be considered when deciding the school calendar. One consideration is there needs to be 180 student days that need to be somewhat equal between first and second semester for classes at the high school. We are still having discussions and getting input and working out ideas for the 27-28 calendar. We'll keep you updated.
Thank you. ISBA Legislative Committee, Joe.
Okay, I attended the Indiana State School Board Association State House Day today in Indianapolis with Terry Spradlin, our executive director, and his staff, kind of presenting what we're looking for, what's going on, and how we might have some effect on it. Okay, we had two panel discussions. We had from the leadership of the minority and the majority, two of each, that discussed some of the things that were going on, and followed by a panel of the education committees, both in the House and the Senate, both majority and minority. We, as Dan said, we're halfway through, so nothing's really established. There's some things lean in certain directions which we don't know yet, which comes back to the Superintendent Association, the school board, and liaisons lobbying all we can to direct things. Senate bills have to go to the House, House bills have to go to the Senate, and then conference committees to get these through, and then amendments can be added. So it's still a long ways to go to get this thing finished, okay? Kind of some takeaways from today that I picked up on. Senate Bill 1, which relates to property taxes, is a big issue, and I think they're struggling between the governor and the leadership on how to do the property taxes. And that obviously affects us in our operations fund, as it does the county, the city, and the library. And then House Bill 101, which is kind of our educational funding and our complexity funding. They've got a huge elephant in the room with Medicaid last year being $1 billion over budget. So they're trying to figure out how to divide that money up, and none of that can be figured out until April when the revenue forecast comes into how much money they're going to have to do that. So I think they kind of talk about it, and as we'll be to April before I think we get any final numbers on what we're going to see in our budgeting. But again, nothing's finalized. Nothing's finalized until we get farther down the road than where we are. But I think, again, we're all lobbying, and I've written several emails, text, and other things to the educational committees as some of these issues have gone through those committees, and we'll continue to do that. And as Dan said, I want to thank our Senator Scott Baldwin and Representative Elena Schonkweiler. They'll always answer my phone calls, my texts, and emails on issues where I'm trying to support what we're doing in public education at Noblesville Schools. So I certainly appreciate our state legislatures that represent us and being always open to having a discussion. More to come. By next meeting, we'll have some more things kind of finalized, but I don't think anything's settled till we get a little farther down to April, all right?
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to report on the Noblesville Schools Education Foundation Board. We met January 23rd. So far this school year for 24-25, there have been 43 grants, and those total a little over $35,000. The grants help staff and students in Noblesville schools. I'm going to give another plug for Millerpalooza on March 14th. It's at Embassy Suites. In Noblesville, tickets and sponsorships are on sale now. There's going to be a dessert dash, a live and silent auction, and dueling pianos. So, exciting. Okay, Noblesville Parks Board, Joe.
Yes, we've had one Parks Board meeting this winter. One was canceled because there's not lots of activities go on during the winter in our parks, okay? But we kind of reviewed, the ice rink went well, the carriage rides, which I participated with a bunch of grandkids in that, and Lights Over Seminary Park were all successful this year. We're all kind of looking forward to jumping into spring, and I'll have much more information about spring activities. One thing I like to always point out is they're hiring for summer help. They always want summer help, and we can't put that out there enough. If you got mature children that are working age, send them to the Parks Department to find the place to go. So activities will pick up in the spring, and I'll have much more to report on in March.
Okay, thanks. Noblesville Redevelopment Commission, Stephanie.
The RDC met on February 13th and first had the election of officers, which remained the same as last year. The next order of business was the commission being presented with an offering packet for the lease or sale of 151 North 8th Street, which is the old Bolden Dry Cleaners, which will be occupied by King Jug. So they are going to present either a lease or buy offering packet to them for them to decide. Next, the commission agreed to a termination of participation agreement with Federal Village for the payments due for their parking garage in the amount of $23,000. Next, the commission approved the authorization of funds for professional services for the preparation of annual reports, tax impact statements, and others in the amount of $50,000 for Cronin Associates. And last, the commission approved an expenditure request for expenses related to the Levinson apartment elevators and fire protection in the amount of approximately $54,000.
Okay, thank you. Noblesville Youth Sports Alliance, Misty.
All right, time for my NYSA commercial. So we had our last meeting on January 15th, and if you've heard of the new Pickler, Nicole and Aaron, who are the local franchisee owners, were guests of honor to announce the opening of their first pickleball facility here in Noblesville, which is out off of Cumberland Road near Costco. So if you're familiar with that area and you enjoy some pickleball, have at it. They are the current franchise owners for Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, and they have 2 locations here now, one at Keystone at the Crossing with 10 courts, but the new Noblesville location is the largest with 19 courts and a 50,000 square foot facility. Their goal is to have 6 locations within the Indy area, and they have programs for as young as 8 years old. And then moving on, as a reminder, there is a scholarship fund through the Noblesville Youth Sports Alliance to help families in financial assistance to help cover registration expenses. Last year, we paid out over $11,000 to help families cover these expenses for various youth sports here in our community. So it's not just a sport, but you can go to their website, which is noblesvillesports.com, and see all of the different youth sports we have here in our community. And Noblesville Girls Softball is still on the hunt for a permanent home. So if you know of anybody that could potentially provide this or any leads, to please reach out to them. And then we discussed different methods of marketing to help spread the word that we exist. And our next meeting is right here tomorrow night.
All right. Thank you. Our next regular school board meeting will be Tuesday, March 18th here at 6 p.m. And at that time, we will hear from our next strategic plan goal, which is compassionate care and support. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Joe? Misty? Any further discussion?
I just want to thank all the cabinet members for your monthly updates. I know we kind of transitioned that a little bit differently this time, but I have read each and every one of them, and I know you guys everyone's probably ready to go home, so I'm not going to continue, but I'll send you an email. Thank you guys for everything you do, and again, thank your families for allowing you to have this extra time with us.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.